So my name is Jess DiNardo. I'm from Enriched Academy. I'm the corporate trainer here, and I'm here today to talk to you about managing your expenses and lowering your monthly bills. With me today, we've got Craig York from SISIP Financial, and he's here to answer any of the SISIP specific questions that we have. As we're going forward, we're going to have the chat disabled. So if you do have any questions, please pop them in the Q&A box. We'll get to them after the presentation, but I don't want to miss anything, so make sure you pop those in the Q&A box. And if everybody's ready, we're gonna get going. Let me just share my screen here. We're gonna do this one. And there we go. So I cannot, unfortunately, see you if there is a problem. If there is a problem, please email support@enrichedacademy.com if you're not able to hear or see the presentation. So let's get started. So Enriched Academy, who we are a social enterprise and we are here to provide financial literacy. We believe that financial literacy should be available to everyone. Now, to that end, we are only educators. We're not financial advisors, lawyers, tax experts, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So any of the information that you receive today is to be used as information only. So do please keep that in mind. We do work with SISIP Financial quite closely. This is a co-project with them that we're working together to help bring financial literacy to the CAF. So the SISIP Financial advisors are very trusted by us. So if you do have any questions, those are the people that you should be reaching out to. So who is SISIP Financial? They want to help keep you operationally ready. So how they do that is by providing advice and products that are CAF specific. So you as a military member have a unique set of circumstances when it comes to your finances, from either your deployment pay, your pension, and your specific insurance needs. And SISIP financial advisors and counselors are educated in all of this and can help you. Your finances can be really, really complex. So getting professional help to help you navigate through the process and the paperwork and all the consequences of your decisions can be really helpful, especially if that professional can also give you insight that you might not see on your own. Sometimes it's tough to see some of the things, we can't see the forest for the trees because we've got that tunnel vision. A SISIP advisor can really help you with that. So the advisors at SISIP Financial understand military life. They're qualified and they're here to help serve those who serve. So the team of SISIP financial advisors are located at bases and wings all across the country. They only work with CAF and their families. This isn't like I can't just walk into a SISIP building and say, help me. No, it's CAF only and their families. Much like us here at Enriched Academy, they are also a social enterprise. They're here to serve CAF members. So regular banks are deserved to serve their shareholders. So that can impact the services and advice that they give to their customers. SISIP is providing unbiased advice that is in your best interest. As I mentioned, they're all across the country for you to access with all of the services you see listed here available. Like I said, Craig Young from SISIP Financial is here on the call with me today to help provide more insight on the SISIP side of things should you have any questions. So let's talk about what we're doing today. Your foundation for wealth is so important. With the cost of living rising, gas prices, groceries, housing, I get it. It all feels kind of out of control. But this webinar is going to help you build that really strong foundation to help regain control of your finances. And what's the financial equivalent of a foundation of a house? It's a budget. Now, don't get scared off by the word budget. I used to hate it too. We'll talk about some ways to get your head around that as well. So why do you need a budget? When you make a budget and then you stick to it, you're able to live with the money that you make and avoid overspending. We also can get to financial freedom. Now, we want to remove the name financial freedom for retirement because when you retire from the military, that doesn't necessarily mean your working career is over, or it might. But what we mean by financial freedom is the ability to not have to work every day to live. Creating a budget is the first step that everyone should do to be able to improve their net worth and achieve that financial freedom that they dream of. So we also want to eliminate your debt and increase your savings. When you're setting up a budget and sticking to it, if you can allocate all of your funds properly, you can help pay down your debts or increase your savings because you're going to be using your money more efficiently. And finally, you want to make your goals become a reality. You're here with us in this pilot project because you have a goal of either wanting to get rid of your debt or saving for the future or buying a house, whatever your goal is. When you set up a budget, you'll start to understand what your after-tax income is going to look like, what your expenses are, and how much you can start to allocate into each category on a monthly basis. By being able to actively manage that cash flow instead of passively letting it happen, you can really start to prioritize your spending and shift your mentality towards what's most important to you. So, what's our credentials? This lovely lady is Alana Abramsky, and she helped us develop this training. So, Alana was actually featured in the Huffington Post because she saved $20,000 a year on a $50,000 a year net income while living in Toronto, as we know, one of the most expensive cities in the country. So, I love this quote by Dave Ramsey. A budget is going to determine where your money should be going. It's as simple as that. I actually am one of those people who bucks up against the word budget. I hate the word budget so fiercely. So when I started calling it a spending plan, because I'm telling my money where it's going to go because of this quote, it really helped wrap my mindset around it. So if you don't like the word budget, go ahead and use spending plan. That works too. So we have a 5-step system to mastering your money, and we're going to go through that. We're going to walk through that really carefully. So we're going to walk through creating your budget based on your current financial situation. However, it's always important to review your budget at least once a quarter because your finances are always changing. The cost of gas is changing, the cost of groceries is changing, maybe your job changes. If your financial situation changes in any way, maybe your partner gets a second job or loses their job. So what we mean is if anytime anything major happens in your finances or once a quarter, and that includes making large purchases, make sure you're revisiting your budget. So step one is you're going to open up the budgeting tool and we're going to start filling out your numbers. So this tool is going to help you analyze your real numbers and help you understand your cash flow. So in the demonstration, we have our Enriched Academy budgeting tool. However, we're just using that to illustrate budgeting concepts and to help you understand what we're doing and your goals. SISIP uses a different tool. This is what that looks like. This is what is available to you in the portal. So this is what it looks like. Now remember, this is your information. You download this from the portal, you save it on your computer. Enriched Academy doesn't have access to it. SISIP Financial doesn't have access to it. Your boss doesn't have access to it. This is yours and yours alone. If you're creating this budget and you run into problems, please do reach out to a SISIP counselor if you'd like some help with that. So after you've entered it, simple thing, enter your net income. So what's net income versus gross income? It's the total amount you earn after deductions and income tax. This picture is a really, really great illustration here. It's pretty accurate. So on the left, we have our gross pay, and on the right, we have our net pay. Gross pay is when you see that big paycheck number, it's all the spinach. And then your net pay is once you've paid your taxes and you've allocated money to your savings and all of those things that come off to make it so this is the actual money that you have. So we never want to be budgeting with our gross pay. We want to be budgeting with that net pay. We want to be working within those parameters. We live in a country where we have so many services available to us. You as CAF members and military families are helping us with those things. So we want to make sure that we're getting those tax dollars to pay your salaries. So we're just going to be working in this current column for now. Again, this is the EA budget worksheet. This is just to understand the concepts. You'll be using that CAF budget sheet, which is just as easy to use. So let's get started. You're going to input all of your sources of income. So for this family, the first one, they've got the first monthly income and the second monthly income. So we've got the $3,000 and the $2,000, and those are in monthly incomes from 2 partners. And then in the other category, they're earning $500 a month in interest on a high interest savings account. So that's where that money is coming from. Then you're also going to be inputting your savings at this point. It's so important to pay yourself first, and this is a piece of it. Len, if you can't do this right now, that's okay. SISIP financial advisors and counselors are here to help you get to a point where you can be saving for yourself every single month. So in this category, they're putting $100 into a TFSA, $150 into an RRSP, and $250 into an emergency fund for a total of $500. So once you've done that, then we can move on to step 3. Now, step 3 is where you're entering your expenses. So I'm going to be a little serious for a second, and I know that that is not easy for me, but this is the most important part of this whole process. And it's the part that's going to take most of your energy up. there's often some resistance to doing this, but I want to encourage you to lean into that resistance and just get it done. It's the only way to really get real with where you're spending your money and to understand your habits. Please don't bypass this step. It's really crucial that you do this, and it's important to be as accurate as you can be. So what we want you to do is print the last 3 to 6 months of debit and credit card statements from your bank and your credit cards from every single account you have. You're also going to need 3 highlighters in 3 different colors. I don't care what colors you use. You could use yellow, green, blue. You could use pink, purple, orange. I'm just making up colors at this point, but you want to have it 3 highlighters to be able to categorize. And we'll talk about that in a second. So let's take a look at an example. So this is an example of a credit card statement. So you're going to go through it and highlight each transaction, depending on whether or not they're a fixed, a variable, or an irregular expense. And we'll explain those in just a second. Once you've highlighted your fixed, variable, and irregular expenses, you're going to go back through each of these transactions and put them into categories, depending on the categories that you see in the budgeting worksheet. When that's all completed, you're going to add up each of the transactions in that category and find the average. So start with just one category at a time. So taking a look at this example, their hydro was 154.64. That was the average over 3 months. Gas and heat was 206.22. Water and sewage 42.29. Groceries, the average was 836.43, and so on and so on. So categorizing these expenses is really, really important. So you're going to do this with these 3 different categories. Like I said, fixed, variable, and irregular. So first we're going to talk about is fixed. These are things that do not change from month to month. So your mortgage, your rent, your internet, cable, home phone, gym membership, bank fees, online subscriptions, car payments, things like that. Those don't change every month. Those are expected expenses. You know exactly what they're going to cost you every single month. Once you have those values, you're going to input them into those correct categories into your budget worksheet. So in this example, we can see that the mortgage and rent is $2,043, internet $33.90, and so on and so forth. Variable expenses are the ones that are a bit trickier. So once you've gone through all of your variable expenses on your credit, debit, and debit transactions, add them all up, find the average. So that's like, let's say you have 6 months of data, you add up 6 numbers or all the numbers and divide them by 6. So that's your amount every single month. So for example, you're paying the interest on your credit card. That changes every month depending on how much of a balance you have on your credit card. You're looking at your eating out at restaurants, grocery stores, personal grooming. I don't get my hair cut every month. I do get it done every 2 months. Your gas, your heat, and your hydro if you're not on equal billing. Toiletries, other sort of home expenses like, you need laundry detergent or toilet paper and things like that. So this is how you would input this here. You're going to input it the same way that you did the fixed expenses. So it's just putting them into the correct line items. So here we've got, alcohol, $65.98, toiletries, $15, dining out, $432.74. And this, you're just going to keep doing that as you get all of this stuff. Like I said, this does take a long time and it does take some patience. When I first joined Enriched Academy, I did this and it was really, really challenging for me. And it was a real confrontation with my own spending habits. So it does bring up a lot of feelings when you're doing it. And I totally understand that, but it is a really important thing to be able to get your spending under control. So then we have irregular expenses. The best way to calculate these is by calculating it per year and dividing it by 12 so you can put that into your monthly budget. So for example, property tax, unless you've got that rolled into your mortgage, that's a bill that comes once a year or twice a year, depending on your town. Gifts, weddings, birthdays, holidays, vacations, your vehicle registration. Oh, you have to get new plates for your car. Believe me, the new plates for the car surprise me every year. Every year, I'm like, oh yeah, I have to pay that again. Renovations to your home, entertainment, furniture. You're like, oh, we need a new couch. That's not something that you can really budget for, but you can say, oh, we expect to need a new couch in the next 2 years, and you can start building that into your budget. And we're going to spend X number of dollars. So you can input that into your budgeting sheet. So if you don't know the amount, sometimes an estimate's going to work. That's fine. But when you do have a monthly value, you're going to go ahead and input it into your budget. This is also going to show you how much you should be setting aside. You can put that in a savings account, wherever you put it, doesn't matter as long as it's being set aside. So let's say you spend You think you maybe spend $1,000 a year on presents. So you're going to take that annual amount, divide it by 12 to give you an average of what you spend in a month. So, for example, in this case, $1,000 works out to 83.33 per month set aside for gifts. Some months you'll spend that and some months you won't, and that's okay. So, after you get real with your numbers, you're going to find some categories that really shock you. And you're going to see where your income is going. And it's going to, if you do it in a pie chart, it's going to look something like this. Let me tell you, when I did this for myself, I was shocked by the amount of money I was spending on personal grooming and clothing. Because if I was feeling sad, it's so easy to go online and go click, 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 add to cart, pay. And it's really quite shocking. Most people overspend on dining out, clothing, entertainment, and vacations. If you find that you are one of those people, you are not alone. It's just that you're not prioritizing the necessities in your future first, and that's okay. I'm here to help you change that, and so is SysUp Financial. So now we're going to talk about creating monthly spending goals to be able to balance your budget. So much of your goal setting can come from changing your mindset. It's not just about figuring out how much to allocate in one category. It's about setting a priority, one priority to start working towards. In this case, let's imagine your priority is paying off debt. So think about this the next time you're out shopping. If something is $1,000 and it's on sale for $750, and you buy it, you didn't save $250. You spent $750. And that's a great way of looking at it. Now, if it's something you had been saving for and something that you had allocated money for and you waited till it went on sale, yeah, then you saved $250 and that's great. Everything in life is about priorities, and what you prioritize will dictate what your life looks like. Like, if you want to get out of debt, you have to make it a priority. There will always be things to get in the way of your finances, but you have to focus on what's important to you. So this is a great little list here, and it really resonates with me when I look at it and I go, oh, I went to the health food store and it was $200. That's so much money. But oh, I went out for on a dinner date with my husband. It was $200. Oh, that was actually kind of a reasonably priced fine dining dinner. Like, no, it's not. A personal growth seminar, $250. But oh, I got a really nice new belt, a Gucci belt, $250. I don't know how much Gucci belts cost, but I'm assuming they're expensive at least, but you have to have it. Now, we're not talking about eliminating all of the pleasure from your life, because then what's the point? Think about the Pareto principle, which is also known as the 80-20 rule. 80% of the things that you enjoy, keep them. They add joy to your life. 20% you can cut. You don't have to cut everything. So, for example, these are 5 things that we're not willing to cut out of our budget. I'm not willing to compromise on my health. I'm not willing to get rid of the good groceries that I buy. I have a Fitbit, I have a Peloton and a Peloton subscription, let's say. That's something I'm not willing to get rid of. Vacation. I live in Ottawa. It's really cold here. I really like to go on vacation once a winter and get some sun on my face. Cooking, I like really good ingredients. Time with family or friends, that might be something you prioritize. Not that I'm saying I don't, but I'm just saying these are some examples. And then when you look at the 20% of things that you don't enjoy, going out for dinner alone, lunch alone, a snack by yourself, if you don't enjoy doing that, then you can stop doing that. Clothes shopping, I know a lot of people really hate to do it because, especially after the pandemic, we've all put on a little bit of extra fluff from sitting at home. Clothes shopping is not as fun as it used to be. Maybe you have a home phone and a cell phone and you don't need both. Why are you having both? Does it bring anything to your life? I'm not a car person. Having an expensive new car doesn't bring me any joy, so I don't need that in my life. So we want you to be able to create some action steps so you can execute them to reduce your monthly spending. So this is going to take a little bit of time, but it's going to be so worth it in the end when you're able to live within your means and you've got yourself a nice balanced budget. We're going to provide you with some of our favorite tips and tricks to saving money that you can execute on as well. And if you like some of those, please make sure to add them into your own action steps. You'll notice here, one of the things is cancel bank fees. If you are banking with any financial institution that charges you money, please stop. They are charging you to make their shareholders happy. BMO has a thing, I've lost my word, a cooperation with the CAF through SISIP to provide CAF community banking. That is no fee banking, and that can save you anywhere from $11 a month to $30 a month, depending on what your bank fees are. Talk to a financial advisor at SISIP to figure that out. So it's time now to set yourself some goals. So if nothing is changing from what you're making or spending, making before, you're just going to replicate those numbers. So let's say in this example, getting a second job, not an option, the income stays the same. Now, when it comes to savings, I have left that section blank because what's right for you might not be right for someone else. I didn't want to give you example numbers here because I didn't want you to think, oh, that's how much Enriched Academy thinks I should be saving. No, no, no. It's it's up to you how much you want to save. If you need to figure that out, please contact SISIP Financial to figure that out for you. Make sure you're allocating your savings correctly, and SISIP can help with that. So there are some things with fixed expenses that you cannot change without making drastic measures. So if you're not willing to refinance your mortgage or move, then those values are going to remain the same when it comes to setting your goals for spending. However, you can always shop around for cheaper alternatives or cut out some of your fixed expenses altogether if you're not using them. In this example, we've cut back $13 a month on our cell phone bill and switched to no fee banking and saving $11 a month. Now, when it comes to your insurance, make sure you are speaking to a SISIP advisor and get what's called an insurance needs assessment. Depending on where you are in your life and in your career path, you might be paying too much for insurance, and it's really important that you get that under control. Oh, hang on a second here. Oh, we're having the same issue that we were having. Oh, there we go. Oh, that was supposed to highlight everything in red. Sorry. I was supposed to show you all of these little highlighted spots to make that a lot easier to look at. I apologize. Okay. So continuing with our variable expenses, there's tons of ways that we can cut back. So take a good look around your house or at your lifestyle and think about the things that we don't necessarily need right now, or we can hold off on buying until absolutely necessary. In this example, we found that we could cut back on our home expenses, on dining out, on groceries, and we're going to start walking and riding our bike more to cut down on gas and parking. One of our priorities in this is paying down debts. So we're not cutting back on debt payments. We're actually going to be increasing this amount, but making sure that our budget is still balanced. In this scenario, we've increased the amount that we're putting to our personal line of credit by $82 a month. This is the first debt that we want to tackle, so we want to put as much as we can against that debt. Again, if you are doing this, please speak to a financial counselor or a counselor or an advisor from SISIP Financial, and they're going to help you figure out how to best allocate your money, especially when it comes to paying off debt. It's hard sometimes to get a really big picture of it. So now we were down from our over $2,600 a month in current spending to a goal of just over $2,000. So we're going to do the same with our irregular expenses. We're not going to cut these expenses out completely. We're just going to cut back for the time being with that priority of eliminating our debt. In this example, we've cut back on entertainment money. We've cut back on our home maintenance. I've also noticed here that they've reduced the amount that they're paying in property tax, and I don't know how they did that, but that's a very interesting one to take notice of. Gifts and membership fees, they're cutting back on these things. Vacations, maybe you decide, oh, we're not going to go on vacation this year because we have this goal of paying down our debt. Our vet expenses, well, we're going to allocate $150 a month so we don't have any big surprises, and that's bringing down our monthly total as well. So in the end, your monthly spending habits are in alignment with your goals. Once your remaining funds are here in the green, it means that you've balanced your budget. Congratulations. That's a huge thing and a very good feeling. In this scenario, you could apply more money. Oh, let's go back here. So let's say you've got this extra money every month. You could apply that to your priority debt every month. If you stick to your numbers, you'll be able to pay down your debts, pay for necessary expenses, and continue to enjoy the things in life that you love doing. We're just prioritizing our spending differently. So don't just make a budget, close it, and never look at it again. You have to track your budget every month. It's great to do it, but then if you're not participating every month, you're not going to really get a hold on it. We have in our portal something called the net worth tracker that I really recommend you do that training as well and take a look at the net worth tracker. And those things sort of work together between your budget and your net worth tracker. You have a monthly money appointment with yourself, your sort of monthly money date. You can set that up for yourself to get yourself going on your money and tracking things month over month. So if there's money left over, you've created some realistic goals for yourself. You stuck to them. Fantastic. In this example, for the first month of tracking, we were able to live well below our means and had just over $600 left over. So, what can I do with this money? Should I go out for dinner? Should I go to Montreal for the weekend? Should I go and get that really nice coat I've been looking at? Mm, hit the brakes just a second. What else can you do with that money? Do you have an emergency fund? Do you have debt that needs to be paid down? Are you investing? These are important things to be asking yourself when you do have that money left over at the end of the month. So let's talk about one of the fastest ways to put hundreds of dollars back into your pocket. It's really actionable, and you can use this money for paying off debt, creating passive income for yourself, or even maybe taking a vacation. You can get immediate results with what we're about to talk about. So we have what's called the ultimate, I think it's called the ultimate phone script, and we'll talk about that in a second. These are some testimonials from people who have used our scripts to call service providers to lower their monthly bills. So much more than what we think is negotiable. Here's a whole list of ideas. Miss one of these things, and it could be costing you hundreds of dollars every year. Gigabyte overage with your cell phone. You can call them and ask them to waive that fee for you. If it's not something that happens very often, they might be more than willing to do that. You can negotiate a free phone upgrade. Your credit card interest rate is negotiable. Most people don't know that. Your annual fees, any dues that you're paying, gym memberships, TV, Amazon, Disney, Netflix, your Peloton could be. I've said Peloton twice. I don't actually have a Peloton, but it's been on my mind lately. How much are you paying for a storage unit? Are you paying for a storage unit? You have two cell phone plans. Maybe they could be combined into one. So the first thing you're going to do is write down the cost of what you have and what you get for what you pay. It's very simple. You just, okay, Rogers, I'm paying $100 a month. I've got two cell phone lines, 5 gig shared. Alarm, and down the line. You just go, okay, this is what I pay. This is the benefit to me. And figure that all out. And once you've done that, you're going to go through with two highlighters this time. They could be red and yellow, but they could be pink and purple. I don't care. It's entirely up to you. But you're going to highlight what you can cut in one color and what you can negotiate in another. So in this case, we're getting rid of the gym membership. I don't need it. Walking is free. My husband built a gym in the basement. Whatever you have, you don't need that gym membership if you don't need it. Home phone, we both have a cell phone. Why do we have a home phone? Let's get it out of here. Amazon Prime, I haven't used Prime delivery. I don't really watch what's on the channel. Let's just get rid of that. But then we're going to look at what we can negotiate. Rogers, Alarm Force, my credit card fees, my checking account fees, my credit card interest. So how do you do this? The first thing you're going to do is research whether or not you are overpaying for something. So you're going to go affordable blank plan in blank. So affordable cell phone plan in Edmonton. There's all kinds of services that you can do this. Use some comparison sites online. Google what's a great comparison site, whistle out we really like, but look it up, how I can compare these things. You can do this with all of your services, home security, internet, banking, credit cards, gyms, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's going to give you a list of everything that you can compare. So write down all of these affordable comparisons. I'm not saying go out and buy that thing with that other provider. I'm saying you're just going to write down the facts, and then you are going to call them. Yes, on the phone. I am not a fan of using the phone, but sometimes this is what you have to do. You're going to call and negotiate using the ultimate phone script. This is available to you. It's inside the portal. Please access this. And the script is going to do all of the hard work for you. It's literally like a movie script. You say, hi, it's so-and-so. Can I speak to your manager? And they're going to say something else. And then it gives you how to respond depending on what they say. A new customer costs a company 5 times the amount that it does to keep an existing company. So a customer rather. So they want to keep you. That means you have the upper hand and you have control of the situation. They're going to do whatever they can to keep you. Again, the script is in our portal. So let's talk about our action steps. Let's go through like the homework. So first thing you're going to do is you're going to get yourself your budget sheet and print off the last 3 to 6 months of your credit and debit card statements, figure out the average spend in each category. You're going to create your action steps and then execute them. You're going to create realistic spending habits that align with your goals. So make sure you set that goal and then make your habits in alignment with that goal. You're going to put all of your income and all your expenses, you're going to track those. We want you to track those for at least 3 months. Also, create a list of your recurring bills using data from your debit and credit card statements and figure out what you can cancel. You've already done this for your budget, so it should be easy to kind of do this part. Highlight what you can negotiate or change in yellow and get ready to call the service providers and change your service providers as required if they're not going to help you out. So we have a couple of different ways that you can negotiate with, a couple of different ways that you can interact with Enriched Academy, and they're right here on this slide. And can people still see that there on my screen? I've popped out of my my presentation mode so I can actually see you now and hear you, which is great. And I can see my question box. Oh, and I've got lots of questions here. This is great. So yeah, first thing you're going to do is use the QR code on the left if you want to access our free education portal. That's going to take you to a little form. You fill that out. Within 24 to 48 hours, you'll receive back your information to log in. And it's easy peasy, 1, 2, 3. Once you get in there, there's also an orientation video to walk you through how to use the portal. If you want to connect with a CISIP advisor or counselor, please scan the QR code on the right. That one is going to get you what you need. So I have some questions here in the Q&A box. Will this be available as a recording after? Yes, it will be sent out to you as a recording. Don't worry if you had to miss a little bit of it, that's all good. Unfortunately, we're not actually providing our budget template. We do have the CISIP one that we actually recommend that you use. It is CAF specific. Ours just doesn't have a lot of line items that the CAF one does, and we actually would prefer that you use that one because it's a little bit more robust and it's actually going to help you a little bit better. There's some comments here. Let me just check here. Thank you so much for including that CISIP budget worksheet. I really appreciate that as well. Thank you so much for that, the person who responded. Are there tax accountants available at CISIP? You know, that's a really great question. I'm going to throw this one over to Craig, and he can answer that question for you.
Hi, everybody. I'm Craig York. I'm the financial counselor in Esquimalt. The short answer is no. We don't. I won't do your taxes, nor do you want me to. But we do have financial planners that can help you with sort of tax efficient strategies for investments and how to maximize your after-tax income, or your local CISIP office may have recommendations for accountants in your area that would be helpful. So yes, there's things we can do to help. No, you don't want me to do your taxes.
Great, thank you so much, Craig. I wasn't sure the answer to that one. So when it comes to accessing the portal, there is no access code. Just go ahead and scan that QR code and fill out your little form. You'll get an email invitation in the next 24 to 48 hours. We're usually pretty quick about it. If it's on the weekend, it might take us a little longer because we all have families that we like to spend our time with. Are there any other questions that can be popped into the Q&A box? If you've got your hand raised, I'm afraid I'm not actually able to allow you to speak. So if you do have a question, please just pop that into the Q&A box. We'd love to hear it. Is there a link that is non-QR code way to access the portal sign up? Yes, there is. Please email support@enrichedacademy.com and they can send you the link to sign up for the portal. I'll make sure that our team has that link available to you and are able to access that. Thank you so much for that question. It's a good one. Not everybody is QR code friendly, and I totally understand that. Absolutely. Well, if there's no other questions, I just want to pop out of here and back in, make sure there's no other questions. I'm going to stop sharing my QR codes there. Thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you, Craig, for being a part of this and being able to answer questions for us as well. If you have any questions about Enriched Academy or how we can help you, please, again, support@enrichedacademy.com is the best way to get a hold of us. If you have any questions for me specifically, so I'm the corporate trainer. I'm going to be traveling all around the country to different bases and wings to be able to answer lots of questions in person, but please feel free to, oh, someone popped the link into the sign up form into the chat. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. So yeah, if I'm going to be coming to your area, please come out to one of my presentations. Would love to meet you. If you have any questions for me directly, feel free to email me, jess.dinardo, DINARDO, at enrichedacademy.com. Happy to answer any questions you may have. But if nobody else has anything else, I'm going to wrap this meeting up, give you back some time because we had scheduled an hour for this, but we can give you, 25 minutes back to go and maybe have a snack or start working on your budget. Thank you so much. We do have lots of more webinars coming up in November as well. November is Financial Literacy Month, so make sure to check out the SISIP portal. There are 3 webinars coming up in November. You are going to get sick of me. Thank you again so much. Have a fantastic rest of your Tuesday. Take care. Bye-bye.